This is One-on-One. We are speaking with Dr. Helen Genova of Kessler Foundation, also a research assistant professor, Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School. Doctor, let me ask you, we've been talking here at Kessler Foundation. We have a forum tonight talking about research going on in connection with MS, but the term emotional blindness and MS, what exactly does it mean and why is it so incredibly important?
So that's a great question. One of the things that we study here is what's called social cognition, which is really the ability to understand other people's emotions, what they're feeling, what they're thinking. One of the ways that you can do that is by interpreting the facial expressions of another person, or their body language, or their tone of voice. These are all skills that you and I use every day to interpret how someone else is feeling. People with MS, however, we're beginning to realize have significant difficulty in this, so that they may not understand when another person is angry, when another person is sad, and that's what we call social cognition or emotional blindness.
What I'm fascinated by already is how would you find that out?
You know what, it's very interesting. Not a lot of people know that they have it. What people with MS may be aware of is that they're having interpersonal issues. So for example, someone may come home and feel like their husband doesn't understand them, or that they're having trouble connecting to their best friend in the way that they used to. They may not know why, but really what could be underlying it is social cognition problems, that you no longer can understand another person's facial expressions and how they're feeling.
So what I'm fascinated by is, and what I'm sure a lot of people are wondering right now, is if someone who's dealing with MS is experiencing a lot of what you're talking about, this quote-unquote emotional blindness, how would they in fact be able to communicate that to those around them if A, they don't know they have it, and B, they're limited in their ability, or his or her ability, to communicate such a thing?
Sure, that's a great question. I think that what we're trying to do here at Kessler is raise awareness of this problem, because people may not know that they have it. But
for family members and friends, I'm sorry for interrupting.
Sure, family members, friends, and for the patient themselves. Even the patients themselves may not realize that this is the specific thing that they're struggling with. So what we're trying to do is, with our research, raise awareness of the issue. Let people become aware, hey, it may not be something that I'm in control of. It may just be a cognitive ability that's impaired, similar to memory or processing speed in MS. This may be just an additional challenge that they have. And in order to help people with this issue, my colleague and I, Dr. Langenfelder, we have developed a 12-session intervention where people can come in and look at a computer and learn what different facial features what they are expressing, how an angry face may look, how a sad face may look, by breaking down parts of the face and better understanding what these facial expressions look like.
So hold on, take us back a little bit. So a patient who has MS,
Yes.
you would bring them in, you would start showing them images, and?
So if they wanted to be a part in the study, what they would do is they would come in, and there's a 12-session computer program where they would come in, they would look at facial expressions, and they would begin to understand how different facial features make up different emotional expressions. So for example, they would learn what angry eyes look like, what a sad mouth looks like, and they would begin to better be able to understand and pay attention to those facial features when interacting with other people.
Yeah, by the way, you talked about the fatigue. We're talking to a lot of your colleagues about this as well. What are the reasons for this extreme fatigue is it all or most of MS patients?
So it is present in about 94% of people with MS. It's a huge problem with people who have multiple sclerosis. They feel just mentally exhausted at the end of the day. A lot of people study physical fatigue, but here at Kessler, we really focus on mental fatigue, which is just mental exhaustion. And it's one of the biggest reasons people stop working, stop going to school. They have trouble interacting with other people because they're just too tired to go out and to be with others.
You don't mean that their bodies alone are tired. It's that their brain is tired?
Yeah, so imagine physical fatigue would be sort of like when you feel after a long race. Mental fatigue is the feeling you feel after, for example, do you remember when you took your SATs? So after hours of a long, grueling test, you come back and you're just mentally done. That's kind of how they feel, but they feel that way all day. And so they feel that way much sooner than they used to. So it's really a significant problem and has a huge impact on their life.
Doctor, finally, reasons to be hopeful, optimistic as it relates to future MS research.
Sure. Well, I'm really proud of the work that we do here at Kessler Foundation. I think that we are constantly striving to test new treatments. Not only test new treatments, but to look at them in new and innovative ways. So we use neuroimaging to find out what's happening in
Neuroimaging is?
Functional magnetic resonance imaging. It's the ability to look at the brain and to see what's going on underneath when people are doing a grueling task, for example, and they're feeling mentally fatigued. We can see what's happening in the brain at that moment and how it's affecting them.
So finally, and you're optimistic because?
Because I just think that we're on to some really great things. I think we're finding out new things every day. I see the effect of these interventions and how they're improving people's lives. So I'm really hopeful that we can continue to do that.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you so much.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by TD Bank, New Jersey Sharing Network, New Jersey Resources, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the New Jersey Re-Entry Corporation, Adler Aphasia Center, and by the New Jersey Office of the Insurance Fraud Prosecutor. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.